I don't know what I'm going to title this video because I have a bunch of videos of women not understanding men or projecting. And I swear to um I swear it's just one of those things where I go, this is, and I say this all the time on videos. This is not a black woman bashing channel, and the reason why I have to put that because yes, I've done lately, like my content has been circling around like gender wars and black women, but I'm not. I always want to tell people I'm not coming from a point of bashing or trying to put down or demean black women, but I do have this problem where I feel like y'all don't understand men. And then that is my personal problem. And I think that's a big nitpick because I feel like we're not understanding each other to a point where we're getting to a solution. And I think it's just more fun pouncing on a problem instead of finding the solution. Am I saying that Keita Rose is doing it? No. But there's things in here, and I was listening to it earlier. Let's just say I was listening to it earlier, and there's some things that she did that had me roll my eyes, and it's more or less because of the red pill community. Now, I done said before many of times I am not red pill. I'm red pill ish. There are some things that in the red pill that I feel like that are good for men, and that helps men get through things. But I also feel like there are people in the red pill that shouldn't be in there, and they're the ones that a lot of people, when it like, let's just say like, I compare this to 2016 when people was not liking Lil Uzi, 21 Savage, and Lil Gotti. It was called them mumble rappers, and it was like hip hop is dead just because of these people, or it's just like people blame the red pills because you see these people. You see your Rolo Tomasi's, your Fresh and Fit, and you see Donovan Sharps, like those people, those the adamant people, and even they'll throw in Kevin Samuels, and Kevin Samuels never really called himself Red Pill. Matter of fact, he kind of like shunned the Red Pill because he seen what was happening to people that was in there. Kind of shunned the manosphere either. He's like, I'm not kind of like we kind of like talk about the same thing, but we're not the same. Same thing with MTR. It's just like I don't want to be associated with them because a lot of them are corny. It's the same thing with me. Like did I watch Fresh Fit when they first came? Yeah, but that was before I realized they was a bunch of self-hating blacks, self-hating blacks that are not really like foundational Black Americans, and like they don't know anything from it to end, especially Myron, because Myron kind of like slurps the white man and shit. And I don't want to be associated with Myron. I think Myron's corny. Like, did I think he did some things that Myron done said that was pretty accurate? Yes. And but there's also things that I feel like I hear him and I go, "The fuck are you talking about?" Like I turn to Lord Jamar. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then you realize that, oh, this nigga corny. And then you kind of realize that a lot about red pill because that's where the red pill rage is. And there's a couple of people that tell you about the red pill rage, but there's also people who's just like they're not red pill rage, but there are people that you can learn from that is not about that. And then once you talk to them, you kind of like get it. Okay, I need to see you. It's one of those things where you hear them talking like I would like to hear more of this than what we're getting. And this is where I'm going to prove. Now, again, I think Kiddo Rose is gorgeous. Let me start by saying that. I think she's a gorgeous woman. I have no problem saying that. I know, like, and that's the other thing where it's just like, I don't agree with some of these people attacking these black women personally. Is like, oh, she's a four. Cynthia G is an exception, but I think because it's that I don't like her wigs. Cynthia G is the only exception because Lord Jesus, she been wearing that same wig she got the fucking, and that shit is tiring. Um and but she also has a hatred of black men and it kind of shows. So that one I was like, if you talk about Cynthia G, I'll let that slide. But yeah, I always thought Keita Rose was gorgeous, but she's also a very very bitter woman. Now, do I know her backstory? No, but I feel like, but she also talks in she's very fluent in projection. How can I say that? Very, very fluent in projection. Now she may have her reasons, but it's obviously imminent that she is very fluent in projection. Like she projects a lot of things that I feel like men does. And this video that I was listening over, um, it shows. So we're gonna go through this video and you're gonna understand what the hell I'm talking about because again, gorgeous woman. And I think she's right on some things. Like I don't think she's wrong about that. There's some things that I'll probably sit here and agree with her, but I also feel like there's some things that I feel like you just don't understand men. And I feel like a lot of these women don't really choose to understand men. I feel like that they have their viewpoints and then they just stick with them, even if they're wrong. But we're gonna find that out. Let's look at this video.
With Keita Rose.
I'm popping this shit in real life. They popping that shit for real.
And vow, raise up your roses. We vow to never stop, never shrink, and most importantly,
never. Shut up. It's just not gonna happen. They've already tried.
Like, share, subscribe, talk in my comments. You know, tell me how you really feel. Hit that bell notification so I can pop up on your timeline and hype this video up. If you can, you only get 3 hypes a week. Hype the video up. Guys, we have got to talk about this Akaash situation because it has quite literally blown the internet up. It made it all the way to the Indian Times. And I don't know if Akaash's family and his wife Jaslene's family, because they're both Indian of Indian descent, I don't know if the family members are still in India and they're able to see what's going on and how this marriage is unraveling right in front of the world. I don't know if they're in America, wherever, no matter where they are, they're not going to be able to escape what has unfolded. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a comedian and co-host of a popular podcast.
Before she gets into it, I just want to because before she gets into talking about Akaash Singh, I want to give you my thoughts on this. I talked about this on the podcast, and let me just say it here. But Charlamagne basically, just piggyback off of Charlamagne. Sometimes it's not. You don't need to have your business out there. Sometimes you don't need to put all your personal business out there, and sometimes your wife can. I'm not gonna say your personal. How can I say this? Your significant other could be sometimes your biggest downfall, like a Jada Pinkett, like Aisha Curry, like some women like that, and you don't understand why. Now, I say this because it's just like when people look at you one way and they see you as this one way, like the stoic brother, it always seems like it's the person that's just like, I don't know, it's just like brings them down. But you realize that you're fucking with their money. And a lot of these women don't understand that because, oh, she has a legacy too. Yeah, she has a legacy, but let's just start with Jada. Does Jada has a legacy? Yes, Jada has a legacy. She is an actress. She's been in movies. She was the it girl in the 90s. We're not gonna hold it. But Will Smith was box office, right? And because of the image that he tried to portray out there, like everybody was looking up to Will Smith. Will Smith was one of those dudes where people was like, yeah, that's a real man. That's a man someone to look up to. And then you did all this dumb shit. You just ruined his image and you ruined his likeness to make money. Like everything that he built, Jada destroyed. And that's how a lot of men felt about that. Is that and a lot of women don't understand it because it's just like, oh, what did she do? She just talked about. I was like, yo, you don't understand like how much that he has to build up and make black men look good, because as black men we know we don't get a lot of positive images. So when we see positive images of black men, we kind of hold that to a high standpoint. Will Smith was one of them. Like, and then like having Jada do all this stuff, it make people look at him as like some type of weirdo. So it's the same thing with Akaash Singh, right? And well, the people who knew Akaash Singh already knew, but the wife, like airing out some of the stuff, and how the wife was going about doing things, which is weird, and you're going to see it. She contradicts herself. She gets mad at the people talking about it, but then like the same problems that she had is the same problems the men had. So you're going to see this in this video, but I'm not. How long this? How long is this? 23 minutes. I don't know if we're gonna get through the whole 23 minutes, but we're gonna talk about it.
That's called Flagrant or Flagrant to Akaash Singh. And he co hosts the podcast with Andrew Schultz, that comedian. And so him and his wife are going viral and have been going viral for quite some time now because I didn't know this, but his wife apparently also does comedy. Apparently, his wife also, is a content creator and makes content and has a sense of humor. And her sense of humor has been tearing the manosphere up. So if you're anything like me, you avoid red pill content like the plague because
Now she hit here where she's talking about red pill, and what I've noticed for a lot of women with their opinions on red pill, a lot. Again, this is what I mean by speaking in projection. You don't really understand it. No, most of them don't really understand or try to understand. They'll just see what they see on TV and then just go about what they base their opinions off of that. You don't really understand like the simple things of red pill. And again, as someone that calls himself red pill ish, I have to sometimes tell them like that's not what red pill is. But again, I don't blame her. And I want to make this real important. I don't blame her. I blame the people in the red pill, and I blame who kind of like people pushing the red pill. I don't think like does Fresh and Fit have some stuff in it that is like important? Yes, but I wouldn't push them because Myron is not married or barely had a girlfriend. So why would I come to him about relationships? Fresh, he was in a relationship with a woman with a kid, and he'll tell you not to date or marry single mothers when he was already in a relationship with a woman. So you're basically hypocritical. Plus, they tell you not to buy box. They bought box. They'll tell you not to deal with escorts. They dealt with escorts. Again, you see the same thing with Donovan Sharp. So like Donovan Sharp tell you not to do something, and you're doing it. I think when you do stuff like that, you shouldn't be pushed. And again, I feel like if you want to know how to sleep with chicks, go watch Fresh and Fit. They'll teach you how to sleep with chicks. They'll teach you how to bang chicks. If that's all you want. But when it comes to marriage, they're not who I want to go for. They're like, Fresh and Fit is not the person to go to. Andrew Tate, I know he's married, but at the same time, that's not someone that I feel like I would go for. I would go somewhere where it's where I would get solid marriage advice from solid married people. And there are people in the red pill that do. I can't remember. It's like this old Caribbean dude. Like I would go to him because he's been married and he considers himself red pill in the ministry. I would go to someone like him. I can't remember his name. I've seen his videos a couple times, but that brother, like, if y'all know his name, he's like an old dude. He's a Caribbean dude. If y'all know who that brother is, that's who I would go to. Because even Kevin Samuels, because Kevin Samuels, though he was married and divorced, he's actually like had people come to. He had a Facebook group where people come to and they kind of like meet each other. He was actually trying to get people together. So he was actually about it. Dennis Sperling, that was on there, met his wife on there. Met his now wife on there. So Kevin Samuels was actually trying to get people hooked up. So, but let's see what she has her opinion about red pill in the manosphere space.
all it is a bunch of pretend alpha males who get off by talking to other men and impressing other men and pushing this ideology of women are stupid, women are emotional, women are incompetent. Oh, you should only be with a woman to sleep with her or to produce as many babies as possible with her. That's all she is. Just that stupid rhetoric, just that stupid ideology, and I don't partake. It's just all races of men. It's not just white men, it's black men, it's Indian men, it's all races of men that have just participated in this dumbassery. So I avoid it usually. That's why I don't listen to certain podcasts, and that's why I've never really been a fan of certain comedians. But this story was so big that it came across Corey Holcomb's desk, which
Okay. This is not all women. there are certain women that they talk to. I know Fresh and Fit. They said it's not the hardware, it's the software. They always say it's all women. Um, it's like it doesn't matter if they're bimbos or they go to college for whatever degree they was getting. It's like it's not to. I know Fresh Fit talking about it's not the hardware, it's the software. It's like they have a point. They have for some reason they have a point a little bit. They somewhat have a point because yes, but it depends on the whole thing about how you feel about feminism, and it's again they don't. A lot of red people they don't really go against all women. It's really what they're really against is feminism, the way modern feminism works, and the way the modern woman looks at things. They're very specific. They don't go at all women. It's like there's a lot of there's a lot of videos of women that when they say these things you thinking that's not what they do, and then they show these videos of women and it proves their point, and then you can't what can you do about that? And that's the one thing I always say, like Tommy Sotomayor does. That's what I said Kevin Samuels do. That's what I see some of these podcasts do. It's like I'm not speaking out of my ass. There's this video of these women that themselves put up there and they say what they want. And they're talking about this shit. And and most of them are just reacting to what these women are saying. And we was like, you see what these women are talking about. So why? So if I was you, I would stay away from these type of women. They're not talking about all women because when they have someone that, that, let's be real, some of you are labeled to pick me. A lot of them men is just like, it's like, oh, wait, she gets it. Oh, man, she gets it. Damn, she gets it. I may not like them tattoos, but she gets it. Like, uh, most people in the red pill, they're specific of what they're talking about. But I feel like a lot of those women, they feel like they feel like they fall under that category, especially if you're 30. Because the thing, let's keep it Kevin Samuels here. His whole thing about the danger zone, and he was like, "Oh, you." Even in China, it's just like if you're like over 30, you're looked at as used product. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like all slang to used product, and a lot of women they feel like in their 30, that's where their prime is. But for most people, it's just like, well, if you hit 30, you know, you're having babies is like a risk. You're high risk of having babies or some shit like that. Let's go with the baby thing. It's just like men that want to start a family. Like if you want to start a family, stay away from women like this. Stay away from selfish women like this. This is where a lot of the women get mixed up because it's just like a lot of them feel like you fall under there, and you really don't. But there's also women that's just like they have higher standards than they can't even attend to, that even they can't put out, that even they can't reach. But you won't expect this man to be Mr. Perfect. A lot of men don't want Mr. Perfect. We want peace. A woman that brings peace. A lot of men say that, and then we tell these women that, and you gotta go, nah, I don't think that's what you want. And whereas men, we ask women what they want, it is very wishy washy. And it's really like, y'all don't know what you want. So it's just like, we're over here spinning yarn. And it was just like, we're not getting nowhere. So, Corey Holcomb, again. Corey Holcomb, he tells you what he deals with. Corey Holcomb, he deals with ratchets. There's like, I give you $200 and you do whatever. Like, he knows he don't dig like real high class. So the same thing with Charles White. Charles White, he was like, I deal with hoes. I don't deal with like real women. Like I've heard these men say that. They know their place. So it's like you're not telling them what they, but they also not wrong about some of the women they speak about too. You may not like it, but they're also not wrong about what they speak about. So let's get to the video.
I've called many times before pig titties because of what he said about Tracy Ellis Ross for no damn reason, calling her for no apparent reason other than the fact that she is a beautiful, thriving, successful woman who happens to not be married. That's what I kind of mean about this red pill ideology of like, well, her life doesn't have a purpose because she's this age and she's not married yet and she doesn't have kids, so she should just perish. She should just die. She shouldn't exist. She must be a there must be something wrong with her. Meanwhile, these are the same niggas with titties that are repulsive to look at, repulsive to be around. Most certainly, I am most certain they have a smell to them, an odor. Only get women because of their status. They only get women because they are rich, and they have the nerve to puff out their chest, their very, very soft, supple chests, and say things like Tracy Ellis Ross is a or Chelsea Handler's a hag or whatever they want to call her because they cannot stand women's independence. You know, a lot of
And this is what I mean by when I say she speaks in projection. Like she has an ideal man, ideal idea of what men is talking about, right? And that's how she really attacks. And to me, this is why I said I don't have a problem with none of her content, but I've noticed that she speaks in a lot of projection. Again, gorgeous woman. I'm not even gonna hold her. Gorgeous woman, and I don't know her backstory like that, so I'm not even gonna get into. I'm not even gonna assume or get into things, but she's right here. Like obviously, you're gonna say that's the obvious thing to say. That's not all men, but they don't really care. They don't really care. This is how she looks at them, and that's how she feels. Now, again, it's going to take somebody that has got to be patient with her to explain Red Pill that if she cares. Because some of them don't care. Let's be real, they don't care. They don't care. They're just going to give you their projections. They're going to give you their opinions, and they're just going to go about your business. If they really care, they'll sit there and listen to you. Is it like tell you what the Red Pill is about? But this is what I mean by she speaking in projection. That is me proving my point, hopefully.
of people have a problem with feminists. A lot of people have a problem with feminism. Oh, women want to work and women want to be equal. But quite literally, women just want it to be seen as people. It's the same shit that racists say, right? Oh, black people want to be superior. Black people literally have always just asked for equality.
We should have piped up on the asses and got more. We should have a duel and see who's superior.
But we've never asked to be superior or over somebody. It's just a matter of this system is unfair, right? And this system only benefits a certain person, and I'd like equality. I'm a human being, and just because of my skin color or just because of my gender doesn't mean that I don't deserve respect. But again, with this red pill manosphere, men sucking off other men and impressing other men, eco bubble that we're in, this is what we have. Now, these type of men have...
Again, speaking of projection, and also that's why I said don't really. This is what I noticed with majority of women, and I'm saying majority because I have to explain this all the time. Y'all really don't understand red pill, or at least the origin of red pill, or what red pill is really about. I usually have to explain this to women. It's like it's really about getting like knowing understanding female nature and knowing how to maneuver through it. That's mostly what red pill is. It's just like being aware of your surroundings, understanding your female nature, how you manipulate, and how you can not manipulate, but how you can maneuver around it, right? Because again, men don't have a problem with equality, but there are women in there that feel like they are better than men. There are women in there that feel like they're better than men, and they speak down on men, especially when they start making more money than some of these men. And some of these men have to humble them. And I hate saying the word humble, but it's usually that's what it is. I have to humble you because you're not all that. And sometimes it's just you're not what you think you are. And it's just like I don't, and there's, there are women in there that don't like men, just not liking men. The misandry, and this is what we talked about, the misandry of women just not liking men, and it's just like whatever. Even when men don't do much or don't do a lot, you find them like that Rhoda Brick Lady shit. Like it's obvious, like she did not like men, and like we had to deal with that. And sometimes dealing with it is kind of like a headache because it's just like This woman is obviously out of her rocket. There are women, like I said, there are these feminists, they don't want equality, they do want superiority. You may want equality, and that's fine. Men are cool with equality. Just know that it's that we've heard y'all complain about this. Well, this is what it comes with the territory. Every time. It's just like, damn. And even then, like, men is just like, if y'all really want equality, y'all go into some of these professions where it's just like construction or blue collar work, and most of that is just like 90% men. Y'all, where like it's like 94% men, but y'all don't go for those jobs. Y'all go for the business jobs. Y'all go for jobs where it's just like you're in a um 2x4, the cubicle and all that stuff. Y'all gotta do it outside work. Like y'all not now. I do remember she's former military, so she's been in the military streets. I do remember her saying she was former military, so she's done some military work, and even then, it's just like I'm pretty sure like they've counted on more men than have women. Like she's probably had to fight for her turn to be equal. I can probably attest that because as someone that's also been in the military, like if they see me and they see a woman and it has to deal with carrying and shit. Trust me, assure you, they're gonna ask me, "Can you carry this for me?" I've had women do it in the military and go, "You are a man, you can carry this." I've had total lesbians, studs go, I'm not carrying that. You a man, you carry that shit. Again, two can play that game. But this is what I mean by like you're talking in projection. And this was a lot of that. And I say this again, I say this before because are there like red pill ragers? Yes. That's what they call red pill ragers that, call women out their names, call them hags and all that other stuff. Yeah. They don't like you're gonna get some of those. Anytime someone starts a movement and some shit like that, you're gonna get some of those. You're gonna get those bitter men that just can't stand. I don't ignore that. I do not ignore that at all. Usually, I tell people like if you had the first before, and even red pill people tell you this before you even start bad mouthing women. Look at yourself first. All right, are you in shape? Are you clean cut? Do you got money? Can you support yourself? Can't you look at it? I said you can't. If you can't, you need to get yourself together. Red pill people say that all the time, and I say this all the time because a lot of people feel like, oh no, all red pill does is bash women. No, if anything, we get on the men first before they said before you even open your mouth about a woman, get yourself first. Handle your own business. Handle yourself first before you get to start talking about women. And like I want women to understand that because it seems like, oh, you men never check them. I said that's us checking them. Like even Kevin Samuels, again, I'm going to mention Kevin Samuels a lot. Even Kevin Samuels in his early days when he was talking to men, he would tell him it was like, you need to step your game up. You need to do this and this and this. You need to work 60-hour. I need to see at least 60 hours on your paycheck. Or is he not working hard enough? Like Kevin Samuels was that type of dude. Again, but a lot of people don't really hear about that because we're talking about men. But as soon as they talk about women, that's when it blows up. Okay, let's continue to the video.
Been in shambles for weeks now because Akaash's wife, Jasleen, came out with her own podcast with a friend, right? The podcast is called The Main Character Podcast, and you can find it on YouTube, where she and her co-hosts are just having girl talk and really just laying it all out there. The problem is not that. The problem is the fact that they don't like what she's saying. And I'm not even going to lie. When I went back and watched a couple of those episodes, I was like, Akaash has had multiple interviews where he's talked about his wife and he's always respectful and he always talks about how gorgeous she was, right? And how he couldn't believe that she would even agree to marry him, which is a
red flag like a motherfucker. Why you want me? Why wouldn't I want you?
You know, he's always been respectful of her. He's always talked about how much he loved her, right? He did mention in one of these interviews that he had met her when she was in her 20s and he was like 31, 32 or something like that. So there's like a 10-year age gap.
She was 22, I was 31. There was an age gap.
And I think that that's very, very important when we talk about what we're about to discuss, because a lot of people don't like what she's saying. A couple of things that Jasleen has said, and you can kind of tell that she is like a rebel, that she's outspoken, that she's a little inappropriate, and maybe her and her husband share the fact that they have like a vulgar sense of humor. So she's her own person, which we love to see, and we love women that are able to be themselves, that find a partner that accepts them for who they are, right? Accepts them for exactly who they are. So when I saw this, I'm like, what's the problem?
The problem is she's disrespecting your man's. I can understand you having a personality. I can understand you liking dark humor and vulgar jokes. A lot of men do that too. But it also comes to a point, and she brings this up, and like this is where it's like, this is like you don't understand Red Pill, why the Red Pill was going at her, but then there are things that you didn't agree that she did was exactly what men was going at her about. Don't believe me? Let's keep watching.
Until I seen all the mashups and all the clips, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see that Akaash had several interviews where he talked about his wife's virginity.
My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Let me ask you.
Also, he was also a virgin. I feel like people are leaving that part out. He is also a virgin. He was also a virgin. So the fact is not even. I think a lot of people are leaving that out. It's like, oh no, he's going around fucking other bitches. No, that nigga was a virgin too.
And you believe her.
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah.
And that seemed to be something that was really, really important to him. My wife is a virgin. My wife's never had anybody else. I'm the first one. She was in her early 20s when she met me, and I was in my 30s, and I can't even believe that we're together. Just very, very like fawning over her and fawning over the fact that she might not have gotten any
other dangling, any other French baguettes
in her life. A lot.
Also, I want to say it's just like he went in there correctly, and it's not even like, because I feel like people gonna talk about the age gap. Like most women marry men older. Like I just talked to someone earlier. She was just like, I like older men. She's always like older men. She was like, she don't really bang with people her age. She's like 26. Is like I usually, and they had people ask her what type of man, what's the age limit. It's like I go up to like 45. She's like 26. She'll date a 45-year-old man because she want older men, and I want a man to teach me something. I don't feel like I can learn someone from being as my age. And this is the shit that men were talking about. It's just like when we try to date women our age, and they don't want to date us. They want to date older men because they feel like older men will teach them something. And usually older men are usually more established. Older men have cars. Older men have jobs. Older men have money. Older men is probably more stable than a younger man's just getting his feet wet. So where else where the women are going, especially if they're going for safety and they're going for stability, they're going for the nigga with the stability. This the shit that men talking about. Now again, let's go to the men. I'm 30. Let's just say we're gonna use my age. I am 37. I would like a woman that I would like to have kids with. Now, I tell people all the time, 35, 35 to 40, you're at the age where you can date 10 years younger and 10 years older. Your frontal lobe, by that time, your frontal lobe, let's just say you're 25, your frontal lobe drop. Right? No one's gonna say nothing about your frontal. By that time, your frontal lobe done drop. There you go. You can date someone older. Like if you like older women like I do, you could probably date an older woman, and they're probably looking for some young meat because older women, when they get horny, they get horny more. So they like fucking young niggas in their prime. Never had a problem with that. No one really talks about it, but that's why most older women kind of like fuck YNs, because they're both horny motherfuckers that's like fucking each other. So, but again, this is what I mean, but it's just like this shit this men was talking about. what she explained is just like why a lot of people had a problem with what Jocelyn Singh was talking about. And again, this is why I say y'all don't really get men.
A lot of men do this thing about the body counts, and I don't know why, right? How many men you had before me? First of all, always lie, because it's none of your fucking business. Second of all, even if I do tell you the truth, you might not believe me anyway. Third of all, even if I do lie, this I got that snapback. How you gonna find out? Are there any pictures? Are there any videos? Huh? No? Are there?
That's why I don't ask women about body count. Even I was young. I